It's me. Hey everyone, how's it going this afternoon? Welcome to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. If you have something on your mind that you want to chat about, I'm here for you. We're going to call it about, let's say, 53 minutes, right? Something like that, somewhere around there. We're going to be talking about the world of sports. Local sports, regional sports, national sports, high school, college, pro-level sports. We had a lot going on over the weekend that we didn't have time to get to everything. You know, the world of baseball has not stopped. Yeah, all these other leagues are starting up. The NFL's starting. The NCAA football season started. High school they're 3-4 games into their season now. But the MLB season has not stopped. And we are less than a month away from the end of the regular season of baseball. Just keeping you updated on things. The final day of MLB games this year. Sunday, September 29th. 19 days away. Which means a lot of baseball teams currently have less than 20 games remaining in their season. Some baseball going on tonight. No games have had a first pitch just yet today, but we do have a lot of teams in action. We'll let you know what's going on in the baseball world, what to keep an eye on. 50-50 season, 62 home run season. Yeah, I think only one of those things really has a chance of happening. Aaron Judge got hot. He got really hot at the end of August. And I'm not sure what happened, but all of a sudden we get into September here, and Aaron Judge is not hitting the way Aaron Judge normally hits. No home runs so far in the month of September. Currently still stuck at 51 home runs on the year. He's been so stuck that Shohei Ohtani is only 5 home runs behind him now. Now, I don't think Ohtani is going to break any kind of records this year. He plays in the National League, first of all, so Barry Bonds holds that single-season home run record, if that's what you think. I mean, the record books would say, yeah, it's Barry Bonds. But Shohei has his own records that he's chasing. He got his 47th steal of the year last night. He needs 3 more for 50 steals and only 4 more home runs for that 50-50 season. Nobody in the entire history of Major League Baseball, and baseball has been going on for over a century, but nobody in the history of baseball has had 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a season. We've had 6 different players have a 40-40 season, some players doing that more than once. Nobody getting to that 50-50 mark. Shohei Ohtani, 3 steals, 4 home runs away from it. Man, I told you we'd keep you updated on the high school sports scene. I have the pleasure of announcing today that on the show tomorrow, we'll be joined by athletic director for Pine Lake. Be Brett Hayford, former football coach over there, and, well, my former football coach, actually, back from my days of playing high school football. So we'll talk to Brett Hayford tomorrow, the athletic director for Pine Lake. He's going to give us a roundup on the spring sports for Pine Lake itself. There have been some pretty good starts to the season over there. I know the women's volleyball team, 7-1, I believe, start to the year. The best start that they have ever had. So that'll be fun tomorrow. You can expect to hear from Brett Hayford, athletic director of Pine Lake Prep. Also, in the world of high school, yesterday we talked about all of the games from Friday night, we're going to continue to kind of discuss what's going on in that high school world. Look forward to this Friday night with the football scene, but we'll get more opinions, more concrete information here for you on other sports that are happening in the spring. It's not just football, okay? I know everybody likes, or did I say spring? I might have said spring. I meant the fall. We're going to get a lot of information about fall sports here because football is not the only thing going on. I know when September hits and the temperature outside hits 50 degrees for the first time, you're like, all right, it's football season. Time for football. Well, that's not the only thing that's going on. Like I said, volleyball's going on. You have some golf going on as well. Soccer as well. There's a lot to talk about in the high school scene. So we'll get a full look at the Pine Lake spring season. All sports, not just football, all sports. Tomorrow you can tune into this show to hear all the updates from Pine Lake. We have some news out of the NASCAR world today. Kyle Larson making some headlines, the hottest driver in NASCAR right now. Maybe even the hottest in all of motorsports. I guess Max Verstappen has really cooled off as of late. Maybe not thought of as the number one guy right now. But, you know, Kyle, he fenced it pretty hard at Atlanta on Sunday. But a big announcement with Kyle Larson. Listen up. Here it is. Kyle Larson is set for his second attempt at the Indianapolis 500, Coca-Cola 600 double in 2025. Now, according to AP News, according to Jenna Fryer, Kyle Larson will be prioritizing the Coca-Cola 600. And I'm not surprised about that. We're going to talk a little bit about that news later on in the show. Also, Panthers update for you. We talked about this yesterday, man. The best player that the Panthers have right now, Derek Brown, broke records for a defensive tackle last year. One of the greatest seasons for a defensive tackle ever on a team that didn't do anything. Yeah, we're not going to be able to see him until next year. Derek Brown, defensive tackle for the Panthers, placed on season-ending injured reserve. That's, when it's bad, it's real bad. Am I right? And you get on this downhill trajectory, and then all of a sudden, everything starts going wrong. It's really tough. So we'll talk about the Panthers and what they can expect to do for the rest of the year. I really don't know. That was their number one player. I know everybody likes to say, oh, it's Bryce Young. Oh, it's our new rookie, Xavier Leggett. No. Derek Brown last year was the best player that the Panthers had. This year, going into the year, best player that the Panthers have. And unfortunately, he's not going to be playing the rest of the year. So it might be a tough outlook for the Panthers for the rest of the year. So as you can tell, we have quite a bit to get into today. We're going to head to our first commercial break of the program. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk sports for the next 45 minutes. You're listening to The Scoreboard, and we'll be back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
More of the good stuff on the way. Plenty of sunshine and low humidity, even though we get a little bit warmer with mid-80s on the way this afternoon. We'll cool it off again tonight, down in the upper 50s across most of the Lake Norman area. And then we'll warm back into the low 80s for your Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. Heading into Thursday, though, our clouds will be on the increase, and we bring back an isolated shower chance late Thursday into Friday as the remnants of Francine pass to the mid-south. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Nina's Boutique.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville presents Fortune 5 in concert on Thursday, September 12th. Fortune 5 won the Battle of the Bands this past spring and now makes their debut on the Langtree stage. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music powered by Waves Entertainment starting at 7. Grab your friends, family, and lawn chairs. Enjoy the shopping and dining options while at Langtree. Don't miss the music of Fortune 5 this Thursday at Langtree Live. This Friday is the next edition of the Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 concert series. Downtown Statesville offers free entertainment to residents, neighbors, and visitors. This week's concert features the Camel City Yacht Club, 5 musicians devoted to bringing the finest smooth rock of the 70s and 80s to you. Friday After 5 is held in downtown Statesville on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College from 6 p.m. to 8:30. Beer, wine, soft drinks, and food will be available for purchase beginning at 5 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of music this Friday in downtown Statesville. The WSIC gang is back at Micaiah's in Mooresville for Trivia Night Tuesday, September 17th. Grab your squad, form your team, or come play solo and join WSIC on-air personalities as we gather for a fun game of trivia. We'll see you September 17th at Micaiah's in Mooresville. The NHRA returns to ZMAX Dragway September 20th through the 22nd for the Carolina Nationals. When the temperature cools down, the excitement heats up at the Bellagio of drag strips. Every ticket is a pit pass, giving fans unmatched access to the drivers and crews who power the NHRA's thunderous 11,000 horsepower machines to their limits. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now. Nothing but the best talk.
The area's best talk.
WSIC.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are in segment 2 here on the Scoreboard today. Studio 4, 844-788-3464 is the phone number if you have something you want to talk about. Let's start our discussion today in the NASCAR world. I told you we had some updates from the world of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson is going to be attempting the double. Yes. You know what the double is if you're a racing fan. The double is the Indianapolis 500, the Coca-Cola 600 in the same day. Now, you might say, wait a second, didn't he try to do that this year? Yeah, it was apparently a 2-year deal. The announcement made today, it is finalized. Kyle Larson is set for his second attempt at the Indy-Charlotte double in 2025. This was announced not too long ago by NASCAR, AP News, everybody. Apparently, there is a press conference that'll be happening late today. Maybe it already happened. The big news with this, and there is news attached to this, I don't know how big the news of Kyle Larson doing the double is, because we did expect that. After Kyle Larson won the Brickyard 400 in the Cup Series race at Indianapolis, he said, let's come back here in May and win the 500. And a lot of people kind of took that as he's going to do it again. He's going to do the double. And they even asked him, are you confirming you're coming back next year for Indianapolis? And he said, we'll see. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but it is official. Kyle Larson doing the double. It has always been a 2-year deal, so this isn't too much of a surprise for the NASCAR world. But the news on this is the priority, and there is a priority this year. Think back to May. Indianapolis, Coca-Cola 600. Usually in May, especially this area, we have some weather that affects things. Races and sporting events and whatnot. Well, that's exactly what happened at Indianapolis. It rained early in the day there. They were not able to start the Indianapolis 500 on time. It got pushed a little later in the day. Kyle Larson and Hendrick made the decision to stay at Indianapolis, race the 500, and not start the Coca-Cola 600. Now, if you follow NASCAR and you're aware of what the rules are for Cup Series playoffs, you have to race in every single race to be eligible for the playoffs. Kyle Larson did not do that by skipping the Coke 600. Now, he didn't skip it. It was always the plan to go race there. There's just weather really threw a loop into everything. And NASCAR said to Kyle, you decided to do this. We're going to grant you a waiver so that you're playoff eligible. And there's so many layers to this. So the waiver is granted to Kyle Larson. He's playoff eligible, no more concerns. He did not race the Coca-Cola 600. Justin Allgaier filled in for him. By the time Larson got to Charlotte, the rain started in Charlotte. The Coca-Cola 600 ended early. Fast forward to Darlington. Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick are duking it out for the number 1 seed in the regular season. Whoever wins, they're duking it out to see who wins the regular season championship. Not that the regular season championship is all that important. Obviously, you want the real championship, but there are bonus points attached to this. Kyle Larson lost the regular season championship by 1 point. 1. Had he just started the Coca-Cola 600, he would have been the regular season champion. And now you look at the points and you see, okay, he's only 15 points to the good right now. I believe he would have gotten 5 extra bonus points for winning the regular season championship, and that would have put him 20 points to the good after his wreck at Atlanta. That's one layer of this, is you miss out on the regular season championship, you miss out on points on a race where you probably could have won, and now you wreck at Atlanta and you're only 15 points good on points. The other angle on this is with him saying that Charlotte is the priority. I have a feeling that NASCAR said, yeah, we're not going to grant this waiver again. If you decide to do the double and you stay in Indianapolis, we're not going to grant you a waiver. That was a decision you made. Look, I like Kyle Larson as a race car driver. One of the most talented guys out there, week in, week out. But I didn't think he should be granted a waiver. He wasn't sick. He wasn't injured. He made the decision to race at a different venue. And NASCAR said, yeah, it's all right. We'll give you the waiver. Because honestly, what kind of a joke would it have made NASCAR look like if Larson ended up winning the regular season championship and not making the playoffs because he decided to skip one race to go race the Indianapolis 500? NASCAR doesn't want that to happen. And I really think that this decision has a lot to do with the waiver. I don't think it has anything other than that to do with the waiver. We've seen way too many waivers granted. The rule in NASCAR is you have to race every race to be playoff eligible. I guess that only counts to people who show up every week. Because if you don't show up, you'll get a waiver. Don't worry. Suspended because of an on-track action? Don't worry, we'll give you a waiver. Did you get injured in the off-season snowboarding? It's all right. You can have a waiver. The only time that a driver should be granted a waiver is an injury in a Cup Series race. Not an injury in an Xfinity race, not a truck race, not a going to Indianapolis, but an injury in a Cup car. That's the only time a waiver should be granted. And there's going to be a lot of changes coming to NASCAR in the offseason. The charter agreement is still not in place. Denny Hamlin refusing to sign it with 2311. I'm sure Michael Jordan has a lot of input on whether or not they sign the charter agreement, but it expires in 2025. We are now in September. It's all of this is connected, in my opinion. The decision to do the double, the decision to prioritize the Coca-Cola 600, waivers and winning in, and it's all connected. And I don't know if NASCAR likes the way their sport has been looking over the past few weeks with over a course of 3 weeks. We had 2 drivers below the top 30 in points win. Now, one of them wasn't playoff eligible because of actions detrimental to stock car racing, right? Right. We all watched Richmond. I mean, if you're a fan of racing, you probably looked at what Austin Dillon did at Richmond and said, yeah, that's detrimental to stock car racing. That kind of made our sport look like a joke. And I agree. I think it did. But then you see Harrison Burton go out and win fair and square at Daytona. Didn't wreck anybody, just beat them all to the line. He was the last place driver of the full-time drivers in points. And he's in the playoffs. It's all connected. It is. I don't know if we're going to see any changes to the playoff system, but I'm sure NASCAR is taking it under advisement. I think, so I was going through, kind of a tangent here I'm going to get off on. I was going through some of the points formats that NASCAR has gone through over the years. The 10-man chase, the 12-man chase, 12-man chase with the 2 wild cards, so it's top 10 in points, plus 2 winners from 10th to 20th. And then we have now the playoff-style elimination, 4 rounds, 16 drivers. I think it started out as 12 drivers in the elimination playoffs, and now it's 16. And I've been saying, I think that the original OG 2005 chase format was the most fair. I'm going to revise that a little bit. The 10-man plus 2 wildcard drivers was probably the best system they ever came up with because it prioritized winning. You got bonus points for winning in the regular season. It used the old Winston format points, and winning mattered, and being good the entire year mattered. Now it's just win a race. Just go win a race and you make the playoffs. Look at what Joey Logano did. Joey Logano won a race at Nashville on a fuel race. If he doesn't win that race, he's not in the playoffs. He doesn't have enough points to point his way in. That's the system we have right now, though. I personally think we need to go back. This elimination style playoff thing, it just doesn't, it's not a real championship in my opinion. One race should not decide a championship. Not in a season-long points form. Well, it's not a season-long points format, but not in any, I mean, yeah, in the Super Bowl, one game determines the champion. But you kind of went head-to-head against other teams. It's not the same. And I know what NASCAR's doing. They're trying to have football-like Game 7 walk-off hero type. It's not going to happen, though. We're going to head to our commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the NASCAR talk, start letting you know what's going on in Major League Baseball. You're listening to The Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
More of the good stuff on the way. Plenty of sunshine and low humidity, even though we get a little bit warmer with mid-80s on the way this afternoon. We'll cool it off again tonight, down in the upper 50s across most of the Lake Norman area. And then we'll warm back into the low 80s for your Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. Heading into Thursday, though, our clouds will be on the increase, and we bring back an isolated shower chance late Thursday into Friday as the remnants of Francine pass to the mid-south. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Folks, here at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, we have got the brand new 2025 Chevrolet Traverse in stock, all redesigned from front to back, top to bottom, inside and out. Come see them today. We have got a great selection of these new Traverses ready for you to take home. And also, we got great discounts on our Silverado trucks. We got the regular cab, crew cab, double cabs, discounted up to $9,000 off. Great selection, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, right on I-40.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? The people have spoken. Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
Hi, my name is Randy. I'm a general contractor, and I always trust the products at Desco.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
Tilly Harley-Davidson is simply the best, and their service department is second to none. Right now, 1K, 5K, and 10K M8 service is only $351.25 plus tax, including SIN 3 and heavy gear oil. Stop by to schedule your next service or online at TillyHD.com. Be road ready with Tilly of Statesville.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshlawFirm.com.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. Injuries are an obvious part of sports, so that means that teams must always be ready to perform even when they aren't at full strength. As followers of Jesus, we have to acknowledge that sometimes we don't feel like we are playing at full strength. It's a brutal place to be in, but when we look at the Bible, we can always find hope. Strength and power are available to us when we seek God and trust Him to provide. Isaiah 40:29 says, He gives strength to the weary, and to him who has no might, He increases power. Psalm 73:26 declares, My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the rock and strength of my heart and my portion forever. We know it's hard to operate at less than full strength, and there's no way we can muster up enough strength on our own. So today, let's rest in Jesus and depend on His everlasting power. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks finished the day mixed after bank executives made some cautious comments. The Dow closed down 93 points or 0.25%. The S&P, though, was up 24, close to 0.5%. The Nasdaq added 141 or 0.8%. Amazon is coming out with its own line of budget-friendly food items that it's calling Amazon Saver. Most of the items are priced under $5. Prime members can get an additional 10% off the brand. This is a direct aim at its rivals, including Walmart, Aldi, and Target, which all have their own private label budget brands. We're making more money, even with inflation factored in. A new report from the Census Bureau that tracks income and poverty shows the average annual median income in the U.S. last year was $80,610. The year before, it was $77,540, which means when adjusted for inflation, last year was the first year with rising incomes since 2019. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are halfway through today on the scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. If you have something on your mind that you want to chat with me about, I'm here for you. We're going to talk some Panthers coming up. Yes, the Panthers are in the news. I know. We all suffered through that Sunday game. We did. 47-10. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's be honest. A 47-10 loss, a 7-0 loss, a 100-0 loss, still a loss, right? No matter how you slice it up, you still start the year 0-1. Maybe things get better. It's a long season. We don't want to overreact. As Justin Kazepis says, Good Morning LKN loves to say, it's still early. It's still early. And I'm going to slam my foot down and make sure that you all understand that it's still early in the season. We'll get to that in a second. Finishing up our conversation about the NASCAR Cup Series, Kyle Larson going to be racing the double next year. Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600. It has been confirmed. I would expect a better showing this year. I do. From Larson. And mostly because it's going to be his second time in a race car there. Right? Speeding on pit road really destroyed his chances at an Indianapolis 500. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes top 5 this next time. That's going to be a great story. We're going to talk more about NASCAR throughout the rest of the week, including some changes from Watkins Glen. The 2.45-mile road course had some changes made to the bus stop. Some curbs got changed up. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the week as we preview our Watkins Glen race. Race number 2 of round number 1. Just a reminder, Atlanta was race 1, Watkins Glen race number 2, and the Bristol Motor Speedway will be race number 3. Quick points update for you. Joey Logano has clinched with a win. He's moving on to the next round. Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs would be good if the round had already ended. Brad Keselowski, Harrison Burton, Martin Truex Jr., and Trace Briscoe are the other drivers, still with a chance to get back into the top 12. Those are your 4 drivers out. I promised you we would talk Panthers. Well, it's time to do that. Big news from earlier today. Defensive tackle Derek Brown. Season-ending injury. He has been placed on injured reserve for the remainder of the season. He will not return this year. His season is done. Massive loss. It is a full meniscus repair for Derek Brown. Quote from Dave Canals. Definitely a huge loss, right? He's one of our best players. That's big shoes to fill. But at the same time, we've got players in there. I want them to know and be encouraged. If you go in, you play with great technique, and you just do your job. We don't need you to make the special plays that Derek makes. Just do your job, help the guys on either side of you, and that's the truth of it. If you can play team football with a bunch of guys, you can have success. Yeah, that's still a big loss. Derek Brown, 103 tackles last year, broke the record for tackles by a defensive tackle in a season. In the NFL, not a Panther record, an NFL record. No defensive tackle in history had more tackles than Derek Brown last year, and we only got to enjoy him for one game this year. He played 60 of 66 snaps and ends up he needs to have his meniscus repaired. I thought last year was rock bottom. This is starting to feel like rock bottom. It is. Get blown out in week 1. Lose your best player on the first game of the year. Nobody has any faith in the team. Nobody's saying, hey, those Panthers, they could make a run. You know, they could be dangerous in the playoffs. Nope. They're just kind of an afterthought right now. Who's going to be the worst team in football? Is it going to be the Panthers again? I think the New York Giants have a good chance of being the worst team in football, like the actual worst team in football. That is a bad team over there. Yeah, we know the Panthers are bad. There's no doubting that. I just don't know. I don't know. And I have them at 6-11 this year. Did I overrate them again? With 6 wins? That's an overrating? Carolina has their first home game of the year next week. They'll be hosting, oh boy, the LA Chargers. Why did I say, oh boy? Well, because Coach Harbaugh over there, he's not, by the way, I mentioned this yesterday. He's never lost an opening day game as the head coach of an NFL franchise. Yes, you heard me correctly. We'll say it one more time. Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the LA Chargers, has never lost week 1 when he is a head coach. He never lost. The Chargers 1-0 coming to Charlotte this weekend. Take on those Panthers. And look, they got a good team over there. They got a great quarterback. They have a brand new coach, brand new system. They're going to run the ball a lot. They were going to have a tough time running the ball against the Panthers. That's what they're going to want to do. And now that Derek Brown is out, you might see a lot more teams running just straight halfback dives into the A-gap against the Panthers now. Why? Because they lost one of the most dominant players in the NFL on the interior defensive line. And I think that's something that's up for grabs. Now that Aaron Donald has retired, who is the number 1 interior lineman in football? Or interior lineman. Interior defensive lineman in football. I thought it would be Derek Brown. I did. I mean, all the stats point that way. And losing him, man, that's not good. It's not good. So the Panthers look forward to seeing the Chargers on Sunday. Panthers-Chargers, Sunday, September 15th, 1 p.m. game. Yes, you'll be able to listen to that game right here on WSIC, just in case you're out and about this coming Sunday. We have one more segment remaining on the scoreboard today. What we're going to do after the commercial break, we'll come back. We'll talk some Major League Baseball. We got to give you the updates on the standings. There's less than 20 games to go in the season. Teams are fighting for a playoff spot. We have a shuffle in playoffs right now. I know I've been saying that it's kind of dead right now. It seems like most of these races are decided. It's all just seeding at this point. But no, we've had a team in the National League get hot over the past few weeks. We'll tell you about that on the other side of the break. We'll talk Major League Baseball after this. We'll get into this day in sports history, and we'll send you off into your Tuesday feeling good. You're listening to The Scoreboard. Don't go anywhere. Please, do not go anywhere. You're going to want to hear this. Maybe you're not a big baseball fan. That's okay. Stick around. Maybe you'll learn something. You're listening to The Scoreboard. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
More of the good stuff on the way. Plenty of sunshine and low humidity, even though we get a little bit warmer with mid-80s on the way this afternoon. We'll cool it off again tonight, down in the upper 50s across most of the Lake Norman area. And then we'll warm back into the low 80s for your Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. Heading into Thursday, though, our clouds will be on the increase, and we bring back an isolated shower chance late Thursday into Friday as the remnants of Francine pass to the mid-south. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville presents Fortune 5 in concert on Thursday, September 12th. Fortune 5 won the Battle of the Bands this past spring and now makes their debut on the Langtree stage. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with music powered by Waves Entertainment starting at 7. Grab your friends, family, and lawn chairs. Enjoy the shopping and dining options while at Langtree. Don't miss the music of Fortune 5 this Thursday at Langtree Live. This Friday is the next edition of the Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 concert series. Downtown Statesville offers free entertainment to residents, neighbors, and visitors. This week's concert features the Camel City Yacht Club, 5 musicians devoted to bringing the finest smooth rock of the 70s and 80s to you. Friday After 5 is held in downtown Statesville on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College from 6 p.m. to 8:30. Beer, wine, soft drinks, and food will be available for purchase beginning at 5 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of music this Friday in downtown Statesville. The WSIC gang is back at Micaiah's in Mooresville for Trivia Night Tuesday, September 17th. Grab your squad, form your team, or come play solo and join WSIC on-air personalities as we gather for a fun game of trivia. We'll see you September 17th at Micaiah's in Mooresville. The NHRA returns to ZMAX Dragway September 20th through the 22nd for the Carolina Nationals. When the temperature cools down, the excitement heats up at the Bellagio of drag strips. Every ticket is a pit pass, giving fans unmatched access to the drivers and crews who power the NHRA's thunderous 11,000 horsepower machines to their limits. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Drum Landscape Supply is the go-to spot for anything you need for your yard. Transform your landscaping. Drum Landscape Supply has trees, flowers, natural stone, custom blended grass seed, mulch, and more. Plus, they deliver. DrumLandscapeSupply.com.
Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
Have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the final segment on the Scoreboard on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Just a reminder for you, recap the show real quick. Started out by making the announcement that tomorrow we'll be joined by Pine Lake Athletic Director Brett Hayford, who will be joining us in studio to talk about Pine Lake spring sports. Yes, spring, or I'm sorry, fall. I keep saying spring. I don't know why. It is fall. It is football season, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's other sports going on in the fall season other than football, which is why we're going to bring an athletic director on to kind of give you the rundown on Pine Lake. That'll be fun tomorrow. It will be fun. Also, just so you guys are aware, just so you know what's going on in the NASCAR world, Kyle Larson announced he will be running the double next year. Yes, he will. Indianapolis 500, Coca-Cola 600 in the same day, but he's prioritizing the Coca-Cola 600. Yeah, I don't think NASCAR is ever going to grant a waiver for missing a race in that way again. I don't. And in the last segment, we talked about Derek Brown, defensive tackle for the Carolina Panthers, out for the season with a meniscus injury. Is going to need to have it repaired. That's the one thing that the Panthers had going for them was they had a all-star defensive tackle. And now, let's just hope we get through the season. Let's get through the season, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk a little baseball now. The 2024 MLB season is coming to a close. Told you on the other side of the break, there is a team that is heating up more than anybody in baseball, and that would be the New York Mets. The New York Mets are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. I think they've won 17 of 21. My numbers might be a little off on that. I don't have the stat right in front of me, but the Mets have been one of the hottest teams in baseball over the past few weeks. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well when they first started getting hot. They are 9-1 in their last 10 games. Only one loss in their previous 10. Now, the New York Mets have the number 3 NL wildcard spot. They are one game ahead of the Atlanta Braves. So the Braves, playing some .500 baseball, have now fallen out of the playoffs. Now, it's not all doom and gloom because the NL wildcard race is actually really close between 4 teams. We'll get into the wild card race in a second. Let's go over your division leaders, all right? Starting with the American League, in the AL East, the Yankees lead the Orioles by a game and a half. The Cleveland Guardians are 3.5 games ahead of the Kansas City Royals. That one can change at any moment. It can. Houston Astros are holding on to a 4.5 game lead over the Mariners. Man, the Mariners blew one here. They had that division locked up over the summer. And you get into the fall now, and here come those Astros. In the National League, the Phillies hold a 7-game lead over, no, not the Braves. I just told you the Braves got leapt over by the Mets. 7-game lead for the Mets. It is technically enough time for them to come back and win the NL East, but I just don't think it's going to happen. You have the Brewers still commanding the NL Central, and the Dodgers holding on to that 5.5 game lead in the NL West. Now the wild cards. This is where things get crazy. We'll start off in the American League. It's close, but it's not super close. The Orioles, the number 1 wild card team, Kansas City Royals, 2nd, and the Minnesota Twins are 3rd. They hold a 3-game lead over the Boston Red Sox, the Detroit Tigers, and the Seattle Mariners. Yes, it is a 3-game lead back to all 3 of those teams. Tampa Bay, 5 games back, and the Rangers, your World Series champions from last year, 6 games out of the wild card. And the National League is where it gets wild, hence the wild card. The Padres, 81 wins, 64 losses. The Diamondbacks, 80 wins, 64 losses. And the Mets, 79 wins, 65 losses. Yeah, if it sounded close, that's because it is. Remember what I said earlier today. It is all about seeding right now. There's actually, there are a couple of teams that could get their way into the playoffs. The AL wild card is tighter than it's been in a few weeks. Anything's possible. Look, there is a long way to go in the regular season. September 29th are the last games of the regular season in baseball. The Mets have jumped the Braves, but maybe the Braves get hot in that final week and a half and jump the Mets right back. So just don't go too crazy yet. Don't get concerned. There is still a chance that the Braves make the playoffs. Long way to go. 19 days is a lot of days in the baseball season. A lot of things can happen in that amount of time. It's not like football where you only have, 17 games to get it figured out. No, there's 162 baseball games. Quite often it comes down to 1 or 2 games at the end of the season to determine whether or not you are going to make the playoffs or miss out. So that is how things shake down right now. Some of your statistical races right now, Aaron Judge still stuck at 51 home runs. I believe he did this when he was chasing 61. He had a moment in September where he kind of just hit pause on his home run hitting, and we were all like, is he going to get there? I don't think he is now. 19 days left in the season. He needs to hit 13 home runs It seems like a pretty tall order, if you ask me. Shohei Ohtani, the other player that we're watching, 47 steals, 46 home runs. No player in the history of baseball has hit 50 home runs and stolen 50 bases in a season. Shohei Ohtani, 3 steals and 4 home runs away from accomplishing just that. You also have Juan Soto, who is chasing 40 home runs. There's a few other players that have a possibility to get into the 40-40 club. Jose Ramirez, he might be a little bit short here. 34 home runs, 36 stolen bases. I don't know if he's going to get there, but he is putting on a very good run at the end of the season here. Obviously, you have some players chasing 2020. Bobby Witt looks like he's going to have a pretty good chance at a 30-30 season, 30 home runs, 28 steals on the day. And Francisco Lindor also 30 home runs, 27 steals. So there are some milestones that players are looking to hit, just some of that individualized stuff, letting you know kind of how the season shook out. It's a long season. 162 baseball games, man. It's a long season. Coming down to the last few games of the year. As we do every single day, as we come to the end of the program, we're going to go over some things that happened on this day in sports history. Yesterday, we had quite a few, actually. I didn't have time to read all of the ones that I wanted to, but we'll get into today. Today is, September the 10th. In 1997, Mark McGwire made history in baseball, becoming only the second player at the time. He joined Babe Ruth as the only 2 players to hit 50 home runs in back-to-back seasons. That was on this day, on 1997. 1990, let's go negative here. For the first time in the New York Yankees history, they were completely swept in a season series. That means every time they played in a season, the Yankees lost to this team. Who was that team in 1990? Oh, none other than the Oakland Athletics. 12 games between the 2 teams. The Yankees did not win a single one. That's the first time that had ever happened in Yankee history. 1989, Eric Dickerson rushes for 106 yards against San Francisco to become the fastest player to top the 10,000-yard plateau. It only took him 91 games to accomplish that feat. Whew, man. 1989 again. Same week of the NFL season. 5 days after hitting a home run for the Yankees in a 12-2 win, Deion Sanders returned a 68-yard punt for a touchdown. It was his first punt return touchdown. That was on this day, 1989. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you. Hopefully we have some better news for everything tomorrow, man. I don't know what the Panthers are going to do. They signed a couple of players. Nobody's going to replace Derek Brown, though, but we'll see. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. You've been listening to The Scoreboard. Fun show tomorrow. We're going to talk to Pine Lake Athletic Director Brett Hayford. Tune in to get all your happenings on the local high school sports scene. Until tomorrow, have a good night, everyone.
Serving you